Ben Jim on the Fisch Bowl. Welcome. Thank you for taking the time to swim in the bowl with me.
No problem. We got time today.
Awesome, awesome. I just want to say that I've been like listening to your two albums on like repeat, and I really like dig your sound and the band a lot. Frankie Teardrop Dead is awesome.
Cheers, man.
Definitely. My first question is, what got you interested in music?
I've always been into music, to be honest. What got me into starting a band is that I reckon it's because I've been in so many bands. I played with so many people that then I decided to start my own project, really. Typical, let's say.
Awesome. Who are some of the bands that you've had a chance to play with?
I've played, I don't know if it's good to mention, I've played with different, I lived in the US back in 2003 until 2006, I think. So I played with people down in San Diego in California a lot when I first started playing music. Not like, I would say, known bands or anything, but I've played with loads of people out there. Then I've played with noise bands in Australia and played with a Scottish band, and then I started my own band.
Awesome. Who are some of your favorite musicians?
You know, the classics. It's always been the classics, like Velvet Underground, Roxy Music. Obviously, I like more modern stuff, like Brian Johnson Massacre, obviously. Gorillaz, Happy Mondays. We just moved up north. We just moved to Manchester, from London to Manchester. And it's because we've always had influences from bands from up north. And we think it's probably the mecca of it all. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. For me personally, two of my all-time favorite bands are definitely the Brian Jonestown Massacre and the Dandy Warhols.
But that's the quality of those bands. That's why I think I ended up loving those bands. It's because they really refer to the best music of the 60s and even the 80s, like Joy Division, were quite influenced by music like that as well. And those bands are influenced by music like that as well. But I think it's always been a chain of like, you know, you reinterpret like the music you heard before. And the pioneers always influence the later bands.
Absolutely. I mean, like the way I view it is like you know, each generation kind of has like an impact on the next, and you know, like I was born in '88. You know, I grew up like around like the big like '90s alternative scene with like
So you sipped it in, do you know what I mean? Like, definitely got influenced. But the 90s era is quite influenced by the 80s dance music and mixed with, like, the 60s rock and roll and all that stuff, like Primal Scream and all that stuff.
Right. And, like, a lot of the classic rock bands also, like, I mean, like Pearl Jam was highly influenced by Neil Young. And you can clearly hear in like Alice in Chains and Soundgarden, you can hear like Black Sabbath and Zeppelin and
exactly. Led Zeppelin was actually one of the first band I really liked, and I started like learning all their tricks and shit, but it took me ages. So I slowly switched onto something a bit more simple. Do you know what I mean?
Right. I'm a huge Zeppelin fan also. Out of the classic rock bands, I mean, like Hendrix is my number one. You know, that guy really had a lot to say and
took it to the next level.
Exactly. Took it to the next level, and I'm really into Hendrix. So I like my favorite like Hendrix band is definitely the Band of Gypsies.
Yeah.
You know, like the whole Machine Gun and like Hear My Train a Comin' and Power of Soul and just, you know.
Yeah, really powerful, isn't it?
Definitely. And like I think he would have gone on to do more like funk rock,
That's what I wonder. I wonder if he got his hands on like some like, I don't know. Do you reckon he would have stuck to guitar or like tried other
Um,
instruments?
I think his main instrument probably would have definitely stuck with guitar, but I can see him kind of like dabbling into doing some other instruments as well, and like
Like like Jimmy Page. He
right,
got
right,
into like mad. He built his own studio and started doing. He liked Aleister Crowley's dark art and all that stuff. And he started recording loads of synth music and like samplers and stuff. Really weird sounds. Nothing to do with guitars. No guitars.
right, right. I can't really. I mean, I like to think that he would have dabbled in some other stuff, but I mean, I definitely, I mean, Jimmy Page was like all over the place. You know, he was something else, or he is something else. You know, like one of my, I'm a big like movie buff also, and there's this '80s, it's the Death Wish 3 movie with Charles Bronson, and Jimmy Page does the score to that movie. Like, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Death Wish movies, but
I've heard of it, but I've never watched it in the fear of like finding it stupid. But
like in my opinion, the third one was the best out of all of them, and it had the most action, like the most kind of like over the top, you know, action violent stuff going on. But Jimmy Page did like an amazing score to that movie. And if there's any of them that you end up watching, definitely watch the third, just
uh,
for Jimmy Page doing the score. It's like like I think the movie came out in like the early '80s, but it has that like kind of like, you know, mixture of like '70s like cop kind of like action movie score music with like mixed with like the early '80s
it would
stuff.
be it would be well hit right now, innit?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
was all that 80s thing going on.
Right, right. Yeah, and I know they just remade Death Wish with Bruce Willis, but
So, do you know what I mean? I missed that one, but
so did I, to be honest. You know, Charles Bronson was I think the guy behind those movies, and
yeah.
it's kind of hard to like, you know, replace him. But you know, I'll watch anything with Bruce Willis. I like that guy.
American hero.
Right. Die Hard, man, the greatest Christmas movie of all time.
Man, that film we're actually talking about it the other day, and if you isolate just his dialogue, it's absolutely, it must be social, it must be like 2 pages of like swearing and shit.
Right. Exactly. I mean the stereotype of like the tough guy who the man of few words, you know. You know, man of action, few words, you know.
Yeah, man.
Kick ass and take names.
Yeah, so to get back on the album, now we're about to release our third album. I reckon we're gonna release it probably October, November. We just got the masters back.
Awesome. Are you allowed to reveal the name of the album?
We've decided we're gonna call it Plane Eclipse, as in airplane.
Awesome.
And yeah, it's one of our tracks. It's because we thought of that because I don't know if it happens in where you're at in the US, but in the when it's a sunny day in London, you got the planes that fly really close to the city, and they eclipse the sun sometimes. It could be chilling in the sun, and it just like cools down and gets dark in a split second, and it's just a plane that passes over the sun.
That's awesome.
And I reckon, and this album, most of the two albums, I've had my hands on the mixing. I pretty much did most of the mixing on the two first albums. The first album was in a really shit home studio that we've built up and did it lo-fi on purpose. The second one we did in a really good studio, a main studio, and we worked together and mixed in it. And the third album, I've given it to, I don't know if you've heard of Jason Shaw. He's been mixing the Mandolini Ginny.
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
mixed a lot. It's mixing tons of bands at the moment. It's really like his brain is like smoking at the time. At the moment, it's really working really hard, and he's doing a really great job. Like he's one of the best engineer I've worked with. He came to our place for the third album. He came to our place, used all our equipment. We recorded everything in our warehouse, and he went home and mixed the whole thing. And I really wasn't disappointed.
That's awesome. I mean, I am so stoked to listen to that album.
I'll send you a little secret like sneak peek of the. You can't share it, but I'll send it to you.
That would be awesome. Thank you, man. Yeah.
I'll let you know when everything's gonna unfold and we're gonna have like all the artwork and everything. I'll keep you posted on all that, but it's gonna come all soon. That's really strange in the world of music because we've created our songs pretty much last year, recorded it this year, and because we've been so busy with the band, we've toured in Cambodia, we've toured in England already a couple times. We've gone to Europe a bit, France, we've gone to Belgium, and we're going back on tour in November for the release of the album. And always what you record, what you release is a year later what you created. So right now we already have songs for the fourth album, but we're excited to show everyone everything because it's all ready, really.
Fantastic. Any chance of like a possible U.S. tour?
It's just the logistics. Because your country is full of rules and
yeah,
money-hungry people that if we come down to your country legally and tell them, oh, we're gonna come and play music, we're gonna get charged thousands. I think we've heard it's like 1,000 each for a touring visa, a band visa or something.
Wow. I mean, I had Stanley Belton from Black Market Karma on my show, one of my first interviews, and he sent me an article because I was asking him, like about a U.S. tour, and he sent me like an article that kind of like explained like the issues with overseas bands touring in the U.S. and there's like a whole thing with equipment and like you just said with pricing and all that, and it kind of just makes me a little sick that
But I think technically every time you go to another country, except at the moment with Europe, let's not talk about Brexit because it's fucking shit. But with Europe, we're quite free at the moment until Brexit happened. But in every country, you're supposed to declare. We're quite tempted to go to China, but it's the same issues. We can do it like rookie, like dodgy style, and just go and not say that we're gonna play and just play. And some people get away with it. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But there's always the risk. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I mean, I wish I could get you guys to like come to Pittsburgh and play at there's like a venue that I've actually seen. It's where the Dandy Warhols and the Brian Jonestown Massacre have played, and I'm like almost like I wonder if you could get like a kind of like a bigger name band to kind of like tour with, because like it was I think last year or the year before the Stevenson Ranch Davidians came.
They're great.
Yeah, and I got to interview those guys because I saw them open for the Massacre, and that was like a great night. Two awesome bands, and I almost wonder if you got like a bigger name band like one of those guys to tour with, if that would, I don't know, like help in any way with doing like a US tour.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're always keen. We're gonna just chat with people like we've always done. Right now, we're trying to see how it's gonna happen with Brexit and all that stuff after the end of October. So there's that. We're gonna see. But the US, we've already got friends in in many places. I told us we can play in Asheville. I heard is pretty good at the moment. Asheville, have you heard?
You mean Nashville?
No, Asheville. I think it's
Asheville.
called.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
becoming
sure.
like a. It's becoming like a bit like, you know, Austin used to be like
Right.
a really
Right.
indie scene and all that. Apparently Asheville, it's East Coast. I don't know if it's South Virginia or something like that.
I'm gonna have to.
Anyways,
Yeah.
apparently there's a circuit you could take, but it's all like a year ahead project with all the things. So we've been talking to people about Australia as well, and we just need to make decision, investment, finance, and all that shit. That's pretty annoying, to be honest, but we're gonna get onto it definitely.
Awesome. You know, I will keep my hopes up and my fingers crossed for an eventual possible U.S. tour, because I'd love to meet you guys in person and see you
That'd be
guys,
great.
like, you know, really put on an awesome show.
We've got actually, we're talking, I think, I'm pretty sure we're releasing a new album with Little Cloud Records, and they're based in Portland, if I'm right. Yeah, they're based in Portland. So we're gonna chat with them guys and see what we can do. And I know that Jason, the guy that's producing us, is very much involved and very good at chatting with everyone. He's a great guy, just great person to be around, and he's just chatting with people in the US at the moment to get all the people from that label to get something going. Maybe in the US, if possible, one day, definitely.
Awesome.
Would be down.
That would be great. I mean, Portland, land of the Dandy Warhols, and a lot of good music is coming out of there.
But
I was wondering, like, where you kind of see music going. Not so much mainstream, but I guess like the future of, like, you know, like indie alternative, kind of like psychedelic, like that whole thing.
I've seen around, I can see around the UK, there's pockets that are developing. I know we just moved to Manchester, and Manchester is a great city. Venues are opening. In London, venues are closing, but up here, venues are opening. So there's still there's still loads of music going, loads of young kids that want to get into guitars. I think with internet, it's easier for people to get their music across. So definitely the underground scene, I think, is definitely gonna stay alive. But I can see that there's been the past 5-6 years, there's been a massive merge of all, like, psychedelic. Everything's started being called, like, psychedelic. So I would say psychedelic is almost becoming almost mainstream. We're talking about underground, but I reckon psychedelic is becoming more mainstream.
I can definitely agree with that. I think with
in different forms, but
right, because I mean the two genres that I happen to, like, really like a lot from, like rock. I really like the whole, you know, shoegaze, dream pop, like sound. And I also, like, in contrasting, really like the old school kind of, like, Black Sabbath sound. I'm not.
There's always been, I mean, there's always
go.
been, like, a mix, a merge, and, like, I can hear that psychedelic music is really, the core is, like, experimental in a way, isn't it?
Definitely.
It's people experimenting, and I reckon there's always gonna be young kids wanting to experiment in whatever genre, which would turn it psychedelic somehow. Do you know what I mean? You take some Black Sabbath, you take some shoegaze, you mix it together, that becomes psychedelic.
Right. I mean, like,
it's all that experimental thing, trying new sounds, weird vocals, delays, echoes, and all that.
Absolutely. I mean, like, there's a band I interviewed that's more of like the classic rock kind of sounding metal, and they're called Snowy Dunes. And these guys were, like, more like a jam band, but with that, like, kind of mixture of, like, old school Zeppelin and Sabbath, kind of, like, with a bunch of other bands kind of, like, fused together. And I kind of just see, like, these several different kind of like fusions of like rock and roll going on right now, and there's like this kind of like old school kind of like what I'm calling like retro 60s revival, which is like new bands that are creating new music, and it sounds new, but at the same time, like it sounds like it came from like the 60s or 70s, but it's like updated.
I reckon at the moment, like I can think of like King Gizzard.
Yeah.
King Gizzard is very prog rock, like 70s, but they got their young skateboarding kid like vibe to it, I reckon.
Right.
Which is like 90s mixed with 70s, mixed with now, you know?
Right, exactly. Like, I'm actually supposed to get these guys. This is going to be the next band that I'm going to interview. They're from California, and the band is called Turn Me On Dead Man. And like they are like they're like heavy, hard kind of like stoner rock, space rock, but they like their sound is like a fusion of like every like awesome like 90s alternative band, like mixed with like elements of like heavy metal and classic rock stuff also. And just hearing stuff like that, it's definitely on the psychedelic level, but it's like so many other things are like going on in there also. And like I like to explore bands and to listen to music that isn't just one thing, but it is at the same time, but still has like all these other elements like going on with it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's because nowadays we got so much information, we get access to so many things that it's gonna become more and more like this. Loads of elements coming into the music.
Definitely. I mean, like that's what I'm looking forward to, is like, new guys kind of like taking what kind of came before and saying, how can we update this and make like a new sound? How can we make something new that's inspired by all this awesome music and nostalgia and everything that came before.
Where music seemed to be at its peak, where all the money was thrown into music. That's when the peak was back then. That's why I think it's a great reference.
Definitely.
The best of the best, the wizards of music.
Right. And I'm almost like waiting for that next kind of like, phase to happen where, because like the 60s and 70s was like for music. The 80s kind of had like its scene, but like the 90s was like really, really like where everything was like thrown into music and movies also. It was just like at its peak. And now it's kind of like, I mean, at least in America, I mean, it's like, everything is like so fake. And it's just like, it's like, like really, I'm the type that does not listen to the radio anymore. I can't stand it because, one, I hate commercials. Two, I mean, in Pittsburgh, it's like we have like a few different stations, and you have like one station that is known for playing like the classic rock and like the 90s stuff, and then you have like a station when I was growing up that was really like for the 90s alternative scene. And now that station is like, I don't even know what they're playing. And
they're probably all been bought by like McDonald's or some shit. It'll become one company.
Right, exactly. I mean,
isn't that what happened in your country? Like everything get bought by one person.
Yeah, I mean, and like Disney is like on a roll, like buying everything that they can.
That's probably what happened. So now they're playing whatever McDonald's playing, or Disney.
Right.
It's starting to happen here. Like the politicians here seem to have like learned from your politicians. Yeah, that's what I've come to realize. Trump is actually a Facebook personality. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely fake. It's like an Instagram person, a really good Instagram character. He's not a real person. Do you know what I mean?
Right. It's just like unfortunate, because it just is like we need to go back to like promoting and like believing in like originality,
Yeah, promoting real life, showing
Yeah,
that real life
exactly.
is great in itself. Do you know what I mean? So is real sound and everything that comes together, that comes through, and it's to be real. That's what people are missing, I think. Touch
I
with reality.
Right. I mean, at the movies, like people are being like sick of this, like, factory kind of like, pumped out. I mean, it's like I'm a comic book fan, but like I don't want to see, nothing but comic book movies.
Uh, I've
Uh,
heard people getting touchy with that subject.
yeah, and now it's like, you have this whole like, Marvel versus DC thing when it's like, the idea of that is so preposterous and dumb because it's like, one, it's like they're two different comic book lines with that produce like two different types of material, so you're allowed to be a fan of both of them or one of them or whatever. Like it's not like a like worth getting into like an argument over, and it's like I mean me like I'm like my favorite genres are like sci-fi and horror and fantasy. So like I want to see more like like original content that's not just like a remake or a reboot, or
But it's probably all a master plan on like cost cut, on like you don't have to hire anyone from the creative side of things. It's just the technical side of things. Do you know what I mean?
right,
So then it's easier financially for them to control the whole business
and
and keep the numbers up, keep the kids happy with some new things, keep the fans happy, keep the whatever, keep the numbers like coming and going, statistics and all that.
right. I mean, unfortunately, that's probably true. And like I mean, the days of like promoting like raw like original content is kind of like gone. And
Because it's risky.
right,
Because it's
that's
a
the thing
risk.
of it.
Exactly, it's a risk. So you get something that people can relate to, that they already know.
Right, and unfortunately, like it's sad because it's like yes, taking a risk on something, could end up not going in your favor, but at the same time, like if you look at like the '80s and the '90s even, and like all like the movies that came out during that time and even music too, taking risks on stuff and seeing how much like it actually ended up paying out, and I think they're just like they want to play it safe, and rely on something that's like a sure thing when it's also taking away from like what audiences want to see because I've like talked to people and it's like they're tired of like I said like remake reboot like comic book movie like we want to see some like original content, something that is new and fresh.
It's in America. You got the cult of the hero. So I think they're just throwing the hero at you.
Right.
Here it's more the cult of the renegade, or like the one that you fail and then you come back and you're smart enough to conquer again,
Right.
rather than winning everything.
I definitely agree with that.
It's like here, it's like you have to go through the struggle and then you respect it.
Right. And like I almost feel like we need to have like that kind of motto, like reinforced here, and like a fresh take, like something, that is new to audiences.
Hopefully, after that president, people will completely switch. Common consciousness maybe is gonna, collective consciousness gonna like morph somewhere a bit more positive. You know what I mean?
Right. Hopefully.
When we toured in Cambodia and we played in Vietnam as well, and with the whole band, and there's a massive feeling of beginning. Their life is starting. They've gone through so much shit in the 60s, 70s, 80s, struggle to rebuild and everything. And now there's a whole feeling of, no one talks about the end of the world and all that. You know how we do in the UK, Europe, and America, like the Mayan calendar and all that shit.
Right.
Out there, and people are just starting society. They got their first paid holidays, and they're just starting. It's just really a different feeling. And in the West, we're so almost content and overspoiled that we almost, like, the collective consciousness wants the end of the world, or almost don't give a fuck about it, about what's going on, rather than in Asia. It's just a feeling of it's starting, so they're just exploring more, excited.
That's interesting.
I've talked with people about even China. Apparently we have a complete twisted media perception on how China is. It's portrayed as being restrained and controlled society, but apparently it's quite anarchist. It's quite messy. It's quite uncontrolled because there's so many, and it's quite lawless in some parts and quite mad and crazy. And we're quite interested in like going and do a tour there.
Interesting.
Because there's bands there. We've heard of some bands, and there's a whole scene that started a tour. Even some bands from the UK started playing there. There's a tour. I mean, there's places that we could go and play, things to explore, and the kids apparently are exploring music like it's the 60s. You know what I mean?
That's really cool.
So we're quite tempted. You talking about the US, we're tempted about China, the US, Australia. We just need to get our stuff together and sort of organize all that really in the next few years.
Awesome. Well, I mean, I really, really like wish you the best of luck with that.
Thank you.
I mean, again, like, you guys are really, really dig your band a lot. I am so excited for the third album and the fourth that will eventually be on the way. And,
definitely.
And anything else from Frankie Teardrop Dead, I am full on a fan and invested in your band. So anything I can do to kind of like help, spread the word or whatever,
definitely. Cheers, man.
Happy to do that. I just wanted to say, Ben, thank you so much for taking the time to swim in the bowl with me.
Cheers for having me. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. I hope the temperature was just right.
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome. Ben, I would love to have you on the show again anytime. Thank you so much, and I will definitely send you a link as soon as this is posted.
All right, cheers, man. Have a great day, and thanks for having us on the show. And I'll send you the link with the secret link with the tracks.
Awesome. I can't wait. All right, man.
All right, peace, man.
Peace.
Love and fucking peace.
Awesome. See ya.
See ya.